I will bless the Most High at all times, and His praise shall continually be in my mouth. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Bible study as we thank the Most High for so much. My title now says, Why Criticize Others Because They Are New to the Most High? They new in the faith. This is a video response back to you, Mr. Keys. Very popular topic. People debating about what to eat, what not to eat, what day to go to church on, to go to church on Saturday, Sunday, all this debating and arguing what color Yahshua is, don't use this name, don't say that name. And it causes a lot of confusion with others, and it causes people to stop speaking and split up. And I'm looking at your email here, and I want to just go straight to the scriptures. Since you were talking about, food, especially food in this video, about what to eat and what not to eat, because you say you trying to get your family members and so many other people to eat like you eat, to do like you do, and you have to be careful with that, because one thing for sure, I'm going to say this before I get started with this video, you got to keep in mind, everybody is not on the same spiritual level, and the Most High works on us different, individually, because what your problem may be might not be the next man or the next woman's problem. And you have to be careful, because all this throwing stuff at people, using the Bible like a set of rules, you're going to miss the Bible if you continue to just debate about the law and throwing all this stuff on people that really have nothing to do with getting into heaven. Now, the Most High looks at our heart, and once again, He works on us in different ways. So what I want to do is go back to Romans chapter 14, and we're going to deal with verses 1 through 12. This is about how you don't supposed to criticize others with their walk, because they new in the faith. And Paul wrote this to the Romans, to the church in Rome, we could say. And this book shows us how Yahshua's death makes us right with the Most High, how He helps us to live a good, clean life. And Rome, I'm just doing a little outline. Rome was one of the largest cities in the Roman Empire. Huge. A lot of rich people there, but it was also some poor people there. And they had beautiful homes. If you ever just study and Google on Rome and how beautiful the city was, and how it was just so much luxury going on. They ate good. In our day's time, we'll say they had the best of the steak and the lamb and taters and all that. But everybody was not on the same spiritual level. And so many of the rich people ate so many different foods, and so many of the poor people ate whatever they could eat. So it started causing a little conflict, and people started fussing about what to eat and what not to eat. Just like nowadays, I hate to say it like this, but if you look at the majority of Christians, most Christians are overweighted and love to eat. Look at the choir stand. Look at what most people do on Sundays. It's Golden Corral or whatever their favorite restaurant is. They're going to overeat and dealing with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, you name it, diabetes. We know how it go. But at the same time, it's each to their own, because a lot of people look at things different. Some eat meat. Some choose to be a vegetarian and not to eat meat. I see people all the time that don't eat meat criticize people that do eat meat. But let's look at the scriptures. I wanted to do that little outline first and set the stage here, because Rome was I'm telling you, man, it was a lot going on in that city, man. So once again, I'm in Romans 14, verses 1 through 12. And it says in verse 1, Him that is weak in the faith receive ye, but not to doubtful disputations. So in other words, Paul is saying that we welcome all the followers, even if their faith is weak. Don't criticize them for having different beliefs, because their beliefs are different than yours. It's like when you drawing somebody to the Most High. A lot of people get their Bible and they just start throwing all kind of things at them. They tell them so much about the laws and all that, and they don't even tell them how to come to the Most High. They so caught on do this, do that. But when it comes to talking about how do you get, saved, those that endure to the end shall be saved, it's a lot of people just slacking in that area, man. They want to talk about everything else, and I'm not knocking what people do, but you got to be careful what you do and how you do it, because one thing that you don't want to do is run people off. So Paul once again said, you welcome them, even though their faith is weak, even though they don't eat like you eat, you welcome them. And look at verse 2 says, for one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs. Now once you look at verse 2, he's showing you that some people think that it's right to eat anything, while the other ones whose faith is weak will only eat vegetables. Now let me clarify that. I'm not saying anybody who's a vegetarian is just weak in the faith. I'm saying that to say some people, whose faith is weak and they still learning, they may just, I need to do this, I need to do that. Just like when people start fasting, a lot of people got the wrong idea about fasting. They get to telling everybody they fasting, how long they fast, and then they starve themselves trying to do a Daniel fast. And that's not what it's about. Because fasting, well, let me leave it alone because that'll take me into a whole nother video. Let me just leave that alone. But everybody, once again, is different. So he say once again in verse 2, one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs. So when I see people eating vegetables and only vegetables, I do that a lot of times. Some weeks I don't eat no meat at all. I just eat vegetables and I love it. I might eat mushrooms and use the mushrooms as meat sometimes. But I don't criticize nobody for what they eat, because I understand where they at. You know why? I was there one point in time. Now, your body is a temple. You don't want to put any and everything in your body. But it's a process with people. They have to grow, in the faith, and we can't run them off while they learning, just to, answer your other question, man. You don't want to run them off, man, beating them over the head because you eating right now, and then they, still eating the burgers and the fried chicken and the, all the fat stuff like you said in your email, because once upon a time you was eating the same way they was eating. So why you can't be patient with them till they come up the way you at? And I got a news flash for you. Some people ain't gonna never change the way they eat. They gonna die like that. That's just real talk. So let's look at verse 3. Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, and let not which him eateth not judge him that eateth, for God had received him. And here you go again. Paul is just simply saying, what you don't want to do is criticize others for eating or for not eating. After all, the Most High still welcomes everybody. He don't care if you're 250, 450, 190. I mean, it's your heart. Now, what you put in your body will eventually kill you, and you will be in bad health. But the Most High still welcomes you. See, a lot of people don't even understand sinning against your own self versus sinning against the Most High. I explained it in an older video. And verse 4 says, who art thou that judgest another man's servant? To his own master he standeth or falleth. Yea, he shall be holden up, for God is able to make him stand. Now, when you look at verse 4, let's just break this down. What right? What right, or some might say, how do you have the audacity to criticize somebody else's servants? Only the Most High can decide what they're doing is right. And the Most High will make sure what's right and what's wrong. See, let me stop right here while the Most High laid this heavy in my spirit. There is a huge difference between worldly judging somebody, and then you see the word rebuking, correction, reproof in the Bible, which simply means you're making a righteous judgment. That's why I tell people all the time, judge me righteously, because I'm going to judge you righteously. Well, what the Bible say, do not judge that. You got to read and get an understanding on the scriptures. You, as a true believer, you make a righteous judgment. If you see somebody killing themselves with cocaine as a true believer. If you see somebody drinking themselves to death, if you see somebody whoring around, if you see all this stuff, but here go the key, make sure you have your home in order first. Sweep around your front porch before you try to sweep around your neighbors. See, it's too many people trying to correct somebody else, but they ain't corrected themselves. So the Bible teaches us to make, righteous judgments on one another, because as our brothers and sisters in Christ, we supposed to correct each other. But sad thing with most Christians is they don't want to be corrected. They want to keep doing what they want to do. It's some people going to live any kind of way. They're going to eat any kind of way. And that's just the way they're going to go out, man, So Paul just saying, once again in verse 4, what right do we have to criticize somebody else? Look at verse 5. Let me move down a little bit. One man esteeming one day above another, another esteem every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. This verse is so powerful, and if most people that I know would understand this verse, they would quit all this arguing and debating on what day to go to church on. See, he's saying here, some of the Most High's followers think that one day is more important than another. And then others think that all days are the same. But he say, but each of you should do what once again? Make up your own mind. That's why some people go to church on Sunday, some go to church on Saturday. The ones on Saturday a lot of times criticize the one that go on Sunday. Some people claim Sunday as the holy day, the Sabbath. Some claim Saturday as the Sabbath. But Paul say, make up your own mind. You think this day is more important. See, the sad thing is all this fussing and fighting is just keeping everybody separated. And here go the good thing is, you can serve the Most High any day of the week. See, for me, I can't wait on no Sunday or no Saturday. For me in my house, we got to serve the Lord starting Monday through Sunday. Then back to Monday. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I can't wait on no certain day to try to get myself with worship and praising with the Most High. It starts every day with me. So whether I'm coming to visit you on Saturday or coming to see you on Sunday, it don't make me no difference. I guarantee you're not going to miss heaven because you went to church on Sunday. You think the Most High is sitting up mad because you worshiped him on Sunday? Versus a Saturday? And when you look at the Jews' time, they didn't even have these Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Their time was totally different than what we talking about time. If people once again would understand this, they would quit debating on what day to go to church on, what color Christ is, what and what not to eat, who keeping the law, all this stuff, tithing and giving, do I give, do I tithe? If everybody would make up their own mind and get their own understanding, as Paul told Timothy, study to show yourself approved to the Most High. That's why I study for myself. Can't nobody study for me. We should be trying to win souls for the Most High, not arguments, bringing them to the Most High. We know our Father is the one that does the saving, but we should be trying to lead people to the Most High. Be just like Paul and reach out. Verse 6, he that regarded the day regarded it unto the Lord, and he that regarded not the day to the Lord, he doth not regard it. He that eateth to the Lord, for to give it God thanks, and he that eateth not to the Lord, he eateth not, and give it God thanks. When you just simplify this, Paul saying any one of the followers who count one day more important than another day, they doing it to honor their Lord. And any followers who eat meat give thanks to the Most High, just like the ones who don't eat meat. So whether you eat meat or not eat meat, what does that have to do with your personal relationship, your time that you spend, your prayer, your worship, your praise to the Most High? Now, I will say this for myself, as back then, when I started learning a whole lot and especially when you start talking about this body being a temple and treated as a living sacrifice, it's a whole lot of stuff JT just will not eat no more. I just won't eat it. Because I grew up eating a lot of wrong stuff. And like I say, man, in the meat that they call meat now, this old mixed up, look like goat mixed with hamburgers and goat and cow and sheep and dog and all mixed in one. Man, you don't know what you're putting in your system now. And you got to be careful because there's steroids in it. There's all kind of stuff in it. And it's just messing up the temple. So that's why I say you just have to be patient with people. Some people going to study and they're going to be like, I'm finna change the way I eat. I'm going to change the way I live. I'm going to change the way I act. I'm a whole new person. And then some people going to get delivered from whatever it is and they're going to continue to eat. And some going to continue to live the same way. But they still going to be saying they, love the Most High and claiming that they're going to make it in. So you just have to be patient with people once again. Verse 7 says, for none of us liveth to himself, and no man died to himself. So whether we living or whether we die, it's going to be for the Most High rather than for ourselves. So we have to understand that, like he's saying in verse 7 here. Verse 8 says, for whether we live unto the Lord, and whether we die unto the Lord. Whether we live therefore or die, we are the Lord's. We are in his care. Verses 7 and 8 is so much similar. In other words, he's saying once again, whether we live or die, it must be for the Lord. It's like Paul put emphasis on this. Alive or dead, JT still belongs to the Lord, the Most High. We almost there, y'all. We on verse 9. Verse 9 says, for to this end Christ both died and rose and revived, that he might be Lord both of the dead and living. This is because our Savior died and he rose again, that we would be in his care. We are alive now. We're not dead. We are spiritually living. All because of what Yahshua done. And that's awesome. Because if our Savior didn't do what he did, we all know where we will be at right now. Verse 10 says, but why dost thou judge thy brother? Or why dost thou set a naught thy brother? For we shall all stand before the judgment seat of Christ. Now verse 10 is what I love. Because it should shake you up. In other words, why do you criticize, why do you criticize other followers of the Lord? I'm hungry, y'all. I don't know why I did the video on the empty stomach, but I'm hungry. So now I need some physical food. But he's saying once again, why do you criticize others for following the Lord, for what they do? Why do you look down on them? The day is coming when we all got to be judged. Paul say the Most High will judge all of us. So while you criticizing your brother, what's going to happen to you on Judgment Day? What's going to happen to me on Judgment Day? He says in verse 11, for it is risen, as I live, saith the Lord, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to God. Powerful. Every knee, not some, not a fourth, not a third, but every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to God. See, we should all be striving to keep working on our relationship and making it better and better and being more and more obedient and living for the Most High. Because time is winding down. In verse 12 he says, so then every one of us shall give an account of himself to God. Romans 14 verses 1 through 12, may the Most High add a blessing to the readers, the hearers, and most of all, the doers of his holy word. Now, as I close, just keep this in mind, big brother. You know who you are. Once again, be patient with others. I deal with people on a daily basis. Smokers, alcoholics, fornicators, liars, cheaters, adulterers, homosexuals. It don't matter what the sin is. I see them, I talk to them, I reach out to them. And I never use this Bible to just jam it as a book of rules to try to throw it on them. And one thing that if you notice about our Savior, he let people come to him as they were. If most Christians could understand that, let people come to you as they are, because the Most High does the changing. He does the delivering, not us. Our job is to pray for them, lead them to the Most High. That's it. Get out of the way. There's too many people trying to play the Most High's job. You can't do that. I'm just a messenger, not the enforcer, y'all. So with that being said, I love you, my brothers and sisters. Thank you for tuning in to this Bible study. Until the next time the Most High say the same. Y'all have a wonderful, 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 blessed day.